Merry Christmas, everyone! Yes, today is Christmas, and I hope you had an absolutely amazing time with your family, friends, and maybe something under the Christmas tree. But when we're talking about the world of Pokemon, there's definitely a lot of things that you could take into consideration. I think that Pokemon is back in 2026. Now, over the past couple of years, we can all admit that Pokemon hasn't really been its best. I will say that Pokemon Legend ZA was fun, being able to catch whatever Pokemon that you want. But when we're looking at Pokemon in 2026, you can really tell that there definitely is a shift in perspective. Now, you see, we're going to be getting a bunch of different games. So Pokemon Pokopia is the first game that we have to mention. An Animal Crossing sort of Pokemon game that allows you to build essentially whatever you want. You want to make a settlement? Well, there you go. You can make a settlement full of your favorite pocket monsters. But when we're going over to Pokemon Champions, this is where the real magic happens, the real interesting part. Before, Pokemon was more like a split game. You get battle, you get exploration, and you get some sort of mechanics in other ways. But more of the system was focused on battles, and what if players didn't really care about the battles? They want to get the battles done with so they can move over to catching Pokemon. Now, with the implementation of Pokemon Champions and all of those benefits that could give you, it can give the people that are making Pokemon more time to just put in exploration. So instead of having a really good battle system and a not so good game, you can maybe see the opposite or a balanced diet within Pokemon as a whole. Now, there's two things that you got to keep in mind. There's a lot of players that like the turn-based mechanics. There's other players that rather a live action stuff. And diving into Generation 10, it looks like we actually could see both. Now, this is really cool because then instead of just having your typical turn-based battle, you can jump over to Pokemon Champions if you really want to play that. It looks like that game will actually be free, and honestly, I think that is a really great thing and a great way to spin on it. And you will be able to transfer your Pokemon from home to here because that makes most sense. You can play, let's just say, Scarlet and Violet. You're playing that game, you catch a Pokemon, you can transfer it. Or another mechanic that is going to be implemented in this game is the turn-based lose-win sort of battle thing. You will get coins, you can get more Pokemon, you can train up those Pokemon, so that's how that game would go. I think it's really interesting and very helpful for Pokemon fans that just want to go out, catch some Pokemon, shiny hunt, maybe go and explore a couple. So now if we're looking at Winds and Waves, that game will have more exploration because you can already see that. With the leaks and rumors that we've been getting, you can see that there's going to be 30 different islands. So think about that. 30 different islands. They're probably not going to be two small islands. They're going to probably be pretty big islands if you think about maybe a different game. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker had some really big islands and others were pretty small islands. But the point being, they could put more time in exploration and creativity and pretty much anything, giving you mechanics that you really wanted. Now that Pokemon Champions is taking the spotlight for the main Pokemon turn-based battle game. They're not completely phasing that out, and that's completely fine. I think that Pokemon was built on turn-based battle, but now we're evolving into a more creature catching game. So honestly, that is really awesome. It was always a catching game, but it was different because you had battle system, you had all of those things. But overall, it looks to be really awesome, and I can't wait to see what the future of Pokemon actually holds. Now that the Nintendo Switch 2 is out and the Switch 1 is probably going to start getting phased out, we can already see that with Pokemon Pokopia because that's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive game, which you might be disappointed by, or you might say, you know what, this is completely okay, because for some reason, this game can't run on a Switch 1. I guess maybe it's the map size that they completely rendered the entire map, because why not? But overall, it seems very interesting. Now, one game that you actually might see on Nintendo Switch 1 is potentially another remaster remake of an older Pokemon game. Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2. Now, this is really interesting due to the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. There's a big potential of seeing Pokemon Generation 5 return. So if you just wanted to get your Pokemon on, play some Generation 5, well, there you go. It might be a mix of both Black and White 2, or it could be a mix of Black and White 3. Now, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a black and white 3, but a mix of black and black and white 2. Now that would be great because then it allows players to play the game as sort of like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. With 16 different gems, which that would be honestly awesome. It'd be a dream come true to be Pokemon just like that. But however, there's definitely a lot of other things that you might take into consideration when you hear about all of that. So if the Nintendo Switch is getting phased out of Pokemon, does this mean that Pokemon games will look really, really good? Now I think that yes and no. Because if you look at other games on the Nintendo Switch system, there's games that look really, really nice. Like The Legend of Zelda, Kirby with a different art style, and honestly, pretty much a lot of games really take good art style and good game design. I feel like Pokemon definitely isn't really that. I don't necessarily think that the Switch was the problem, but let's just go along with the idea that the Nintendo Switch was the problem. Okay, then why was that the problem? Now, there's a lot of ways that game developing comes into play with that. So game developing, you can compress game textures and you can make them for a lower gigabyte resolution. But in the case of Pokemon, it seems like they've been doing their entire game development backwards. Because usually when you're doing some sort of open world game, you would render the game, the one that the player sees, and it would look super nice and beautiful, and then de-render everything behind you. But when you're looking at Pokemon Legends ZA, that was not the case. The entire city was rendered in the entire time. No matter if you weren't even looking at it. If you were across the map from the other point of the city, well, that would still be loaded in, which is not usually the greatest thing. So hopefully in Gen 10, we are going to be seeing something different than that. But overall, I think that Pokemon could actually finally be back, because I feel like the last time that the entire community agreed best Pokemon game was all the way back in Generation 5. And that has been 4 generations of games, and we're jumping into the 5th generation of games, to say the least. So now, what in the world, Pokemon, are we finally going to go back to form with great games to really win us over? I think the answer actually might be yes. The games are looking really awesome. Because just look at it, Pokemon Pokopia, it goes to different players. You can use that game for a Animal Crossing spinoff. Or you could go to Pokemon Champions, have an endless battle, because one of the main things that I like to do is just do battles. There's an application on the internet that's like Pokemon Coliseum or something, and it's just really fun. It's just easy, quick, and simple that allows you to just jump into a game and play immediately. But then Generation 10 is probably going to win a lot of Pokemon fans over. Maybe you could say Pokemon Legends ZA was a good or bad game, but I will say that I think the story was not great, but the gameplay itself was really good. Catching whatever creature you wanted to. Battling was honestly really good. It was immersive, and there you go. And Gen 10, it's going to be great. It's honestly going to be great. Hopefully, we actually do get both battle systems, because I don't think the turn-based battle necessarily is that intuitive anymore. Because if you want to play a creature capture game, usually you just go out there and catch Pokemon. Because Legends ZA really won me over with that, because I can just throw a ball after a ball after a ball, and there you go. But usually with the turn-based battle, you're sitting there, clicking, okay, so I want ball, okay, catch, full-on animation, catches, nope, Pokemon attacks, okay, ball again, shooting animation, nope, Pokemon attacks. Overall, the point is, it's not that great anymore. I'm just going to say it here, but if you still like turn-based battle, 2 options would be really great. But anyways, what are your thoughts on Pokemon as a whole? Do you think 2026 could finally be the year that we see something completely different? Or do you think nonsense? Pokemon is never going to listen to us, never going to go back to form a formula that was proven to be working. Anyways, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. It's Christmas after all, so have fun out there. Play some video games, or even spend time with your family friends, because that's what Christmas is all about. And I wish you the best. And honestly, if you want to get me a little Christmas present here, you don't have to get anything. Just hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. That would be a dream come true. So thank you so much. And with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day or rest of your day or night, whatever the case may be. See you in the next one.